Yo, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to trick yourself into doing things you hate in order to get what you want, right? Because in reality, in order to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, if you have big dreams or if you have something, if you have a goal, basically, I hate that word, but like if you have a specific desire for yourself, let's just say goal, fuck it. If you have a goal for yourself, then you are going to probably have to do a lot of things that you don't want to do initially that are going to be physically uncomfortable or not fun or boring. You're going to have to trick yourself into doing a lot of those things in order to get what you want. Because you know what they say, if something is worth doing, no wait, what do they say? If it was easy, everybody would do it. Which is why you don't have a lot of millionaires, you don't have a lot of really fit people, you don't have a lot of extremely high achieving individuals unless they just kind of got lucky and happened to stumble upon some method accidentally for doing something that most people find to be difficult or unpleasant that has netted them this result. So what I've done is I've kind of deconstructed, with the help obviously of experts and people, not direct help, but this is just from my own analysis, I guess, and experience. I've deconstructed basically how to do this on your own, because in reality, it's been actually kind of a long time since I have, successfully started a new habit. It's been a while. It really has. Strange, but anyway. So let's just start in the beginning. So the first thing that you need to do, this is probably the most important, is to define your outcome. Right? You need to decide what it is that you want clearly. Now, we all do this on a regular basis. We all have an outcome, even if it's not explicitly stated. And I've said this before, if you are 300 pounds and you're fat and you're out of shape, that was your outcome. That was your goal. And you were drawn to that goal through various behaviors. They were not consciously stated. I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and they say to themselves, hey, I want to eat fucking 4,000 calories of sugary processed foods today. That's my goal and I'm going to achieve it no matter what, right? But if you have a motivational vacuum in your life, that vacuum is going to be filled with the easiest path to being filled. I guess that doesn't make any sense, but basically what that means is that if you do not choose ahead of time what you want to have happen, then you will instinctively, or I guess unconsciously, choose whatever is easiest and most immediately available. So, taking the health example, like you didn't choose actively that you're going to eat healthy food, so you're probably going to eat whatever shit is just around or whatever people present to you, or whatever your family cooks for you, or whatever restaurant just happens to be closest, because you didn't actually actively make a choice as to what you wanted. So you must define your outcome. You must define what exactly it is that you want. And I would recommend that you do this in every single area of your life that you possibly can. That's just what I think. So make a list of everything you want, right? That's what this says. I think my beautiful, sexy face is covering it. Yeah. So make a list. That's what this says. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Make a list of everything you want. All right. So make a list of everything you want. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to get every single thing that you want, but at least like brainstorm and get some ideas on paper. Because when you write, you're smarter than when you think, right? Which is why I'm so smart, because I write all the time, or I used to, at least. Because when you think or speak, you are not really able to accurately express yourself. Whereas when you write, you can sit and think about how exactly you want to say things. Plus, we all have a wider vocabulary when we write as opposed to when we speak, because there's a lot of words that are not said in casual conversation that you only read, really. And those words are generally more complex and also more descriptive and more, they're used in more specific situations. I can't think of the right word for that. If I was writing it down, maybe I could. So anyway, you have to write it down, right? You have to write it down. I recommend, it's another video, but recommend journaling, or at least whenever you're confused about something, just sit and write about it, and pretty much guaranteed that you will gain clarity on that. And this whole thing is about clarity. That's really what it is. The first, 4 steps here are all about clarity. Once you decide exactly what it is you want, it's really not that hard to get. because you know exactly what it is you want, and the steps to achieve that become much more clear. All right, so define your outcome. Define what it is exactly that you want. Make a list of everything, is how you do that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to define the type of person who easily achieves that outcome, right? So like, you can either identify somebody who's already achieved it, or you could imagine to yourself what that type of person would be like if nobody has achieved it yet, for example. The easiest one that pops into my head, let's think you want to be the best basketball player in the world. Well, you would identify who the best basketball player in the world is. Now it's LeBron, I guess. Is it LeBron? I don't watch basketball. But I was always just thinking of Kobe Bryant, right? And Kobe Bryant is known for having an insane work ethic where he wakes up. I don't know. I always heard this story about him. I don't know if it's actually true, but he would wake up at like 4 a.m. and go shoot free throws until like 7 when practice started or something like that. But he was the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. And he just had this like crazy, insane work ethic. And that's just what he did, right? So you just want to identify who's the best, or who has, not necessarily who's the best, but who has the outcome that you want, right? So like for fitness, for example, you identify an individual that has the type of body that you want, the type of lifestyle that you want, the type of, I guess, fitness is a little bit more difficult because there's a lot of liars and people who are on steroids, for example. But all things being considered, right? Let's say you want the body of, well, and also genetics, I guess, play a role in that as well. So maybe that's a bad example, but you can, like, let's say you want to look like Jeff Seid, right? The fitness model. Can you look like him? Probably not. But if you want to look more like him than like, I don't know, fucking who's another fitness person? More like fucking, I don't know, whatever, some other type of, like, you know who Kyriakos Grizzly? None of you know who that is. Anyway, if you want this type of body, you identify the type of person that has that type of body and you do what they do, right? Including nutrition, including workouts, and if they're honest about it, including whatever steroids they're on. Whereas if you want this type of body, you know, you want to be a fucking Instagram booty model, then you go do the Instagram booty model workouts, right? And again, like I said, that's assuming that they are clear about, you know, and honest about all of the cosmetic surgery they may have had and the, you know, implants and all this other stuff. But anyway, the point is you need to clearly identify the type of person who has that. And then what you need to do is you want to go one step more particular, right? And you want to identify their daily routines. So this is kind of called, this is, I guess, a loose explanation of what chunking is, right? So chunking in NLP is basically where you group various concepts together. Like, for example, if we think of, well, actually, that's called chunking up or chunking down. Anyway, this is my personal interpretation of what chunking is. So, like, basically what you want to do is you want to identify what their daily routines are, right? So, like, you have this pro basketball player and or how about this? You have a business person and he makes a lot of money. He's an entrepreneur and he spends 6 hours a day prospecting, getting new clients. He spends 2 hours a day, you know, talking to his other clients that he's already has. He spends 1 hour a day working out, and you just kind of break down their routine and you look at their routine, you know, regarding whatever it is that you want to do. So let's take the business example, right? And you identify that routine and you think, okay, so if they spend 6 hours a day contacting new people and trying to make sales, and that's where the bulk of their revenue is coming from, then that means that I need to spend 6 hours a day trying to make sales because that's what they're doing. So that's what I need to do, right? So you identify what the daily routine is that is giving them the results, right? And then what you want to do is you want to identify the habits that make up those routines, right? So you want to chunk it down a little bit. You want to look at a smaller piece of the overall behavior, right? So for example, let's take that last example again. Let's say you have this business person and he spends 6 hours a day prospecting and making calls, right? So what does he do? What is the small chunk behavior? Would be he sits down at his desk, he has his list of leads, and he takes the phone, puts it to his ear, or if you have whatever, takes the phone, puts it to his ear, dials the number, and when the person answers, he says the pitch, right? That would be like, you want to get that granular with it. Okay, so you identify the habits that make up these routines. So if that is the habit that is leading to like all of this income that he's generating and all this money that he has, you want to identify that and then kind of like Just identify it and make yourself do it eventually, obviously. And then once you've identified it, you want to write a conditional statement defining whatever your plan is. So for example, I just wrote here, if it's 3 p.m., then when I will go to the gym at, I will go to this Planet Fitness for 2 hours, every day, whatever. Using the businessman example again, what you would say would be every day from, or I guess if it's a conditional statement, it has to be if then. If it is 8 o'clock in the morning, I will make cold calls until 2 p.m. From my desk at home. Yeah, that's it. Right. And the reason this is important is that they did a study. I talked about this in my last video, but this is mentioned in Atomic Habits, where they say that they did a study that 3 groups of people, and the experimental group, the one thing that they did differently was that they wrote conditional statements like this, and they had a 91% success rate of people actually doing what they said they would do, whereas the other groups were like 30%. And the other groups, I think all they did was like watch a motivational video or just like, verbally commit to what they wanted to do. Okay. Now the real secret sauce here, okay, and this is something that I have learned recently with my own experience. And if you haven't seen the video that I made about getting over approach anxiety with licorice, this was just so mind-blowing to me how effective this was, that it really kind of caused a shift in my understanding of how to do anything, which is one of the reasons I'm making this video. But basically what you need to do is you need to reward yourself in the short term for performing those habits. And when I say short term, I mean fucking immediately, right? Like, do some sort of reward, something that is intrinsically rewarding immediately after you do whatever it is that you want to do. For those of you who haven't seen that video, basically what I did is I wanted to go out, like I'm working on this habit of like doing pickup, right? The hardest part about pickup is the approach, is the first part. The first thing that you need to do is the hardest fucking thing. And it's like, that's why nobody does it, because it's really fucking hard. Or it's not actually that hard, it's just people think it's hard. So I got the random idea in my head one day that every approach that I did, I would eat a piece of licorice, or like a licorice stick or whatever it is. And it fucking worked, because my focus became to get the reward, the short-term reward. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to eat the licorice. And it was almost like it didn't matter what I had to do to get it, because I just wanted that reward. So I tricked myself into doing this thing that had previously been this like super nerve-wracking complex thing. And I just fucking automatically did it, like just because I wanted to taste something sweet. So, and I wrote here, you can use sugar, nicotine, anything. Think of yourself like a dog. So any of you who have ever trained a dog, you know what you have them do is you have them sit or do a trick, and then you give them some food or a treat. And then over time, when you give the command or tell them what to do, they do it automatically, because they're associating doing whatever it is they're doing with the treat, right? So like, give yourself a treat, basically. Treat yourself like a dog. Operant conditioning. Look it up. Okay, so that is the 6-step thing, process. I can't even talk. Where's my water? Define your outcome. Make a list of everything you want. Define the type of person who easily achieves that outcome really without trying, or who kind of effortlessly does it or seamlessly does it. Identify what they do on a daily basis in an overall sense, and then identify the habits that make up what they do on an overall basis in a smaller, more granular way. Write a conditional statement defining how and when and in what location you will actually do those things. And then every single time you do them, give yourself an immediate reward right away for doing it. Okay, this seems to be something that is working for me. Maybe in other videos, I will explain exactly how to do this for fitness, for example. I think that would be very interesting, because there's a lot of areas where people are chronically, like the majority is chronically underachieving. Most people don't have any money. Most people have a shit work ethic. Most people are fucking fat and out of shape. Most people are lacking in at least one area of their life. And it seems like if you just use operant conditioning to teach them, to really trick them into doing tricks like a dog does tricks, why would you not teach that in school for everybody? Like, why wouldn't you teach this in school? Fucking operant conditioning. I'm not saying teach people the concept. I'm saying like every time you have the fucking kids do sports, like you give them a snack after every rep they do or something like that. Or after every set, you give them like a little fucking hot tamale candy or something. I don't know. I think that'd be much more effective than just forcing them to sit in a classroom and being bored for an hour. Okay, so let me know what you think about that. Leave me a comment or Reno. Also have a new fitness course coming out at the end of the month. The Minimalist Guide to Fitness. It is going to have a section on fasting, on nutrition, on exercise principles, exercise demonstrations, sample workouts, a lot of deep dives that I go into all of that stuff in much more detail than I do on these videos. So if that is interesting to you, if you want to get in shape and you want to learn exactly what I do to do it, or what I would recommend if I was training somebody, go to theminfit.com, theminfit.com. Sign up there for updates. It will be heavily discounted when I release the course, and the price will gradually increase because I will continuously add more content to it. It'll be like a living course kind of thing. Cool. Check that out. Let me know if you have any questions about this one. Leave me a comment. Peace.